What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to another episode of Street Biblicals. I'm your host, Brother Stone, along with my co-host,
Pastor Walls.
Today we have a special guest, one of my homeboys and partners, my partner, Brother Gino of the House of Israel. You know what I'm saying? And we've been having a lot of discussion going on lately, talking about the situation with Kanye West and Kyrie, and we're really just enlightened. So I wanted to bring on someone, you know what I'm saying, that could shed a little more light on it, a little more about it than I can, you know what I'm saying, that could speak for it as far as the Israels and the Hebrews, you know what I'm saying, to get an insight on it. So I wanted to bring on Brother Gino in today.
All right, we appreciate you, and the main focus of this podcast is to enlighten us on Israelites, the Hebrew, and let us know. We said something earlier that it's not a religion. So if you want to go ahead and start off, just give us a little history and tell us about it. I appreciate that.
When you're dealing with the Israelites, it's the whole funny part of the whole matter is this whole Bible is a love story between God and the Israelites.
Okay.
And we missed that whole point.
Okay. Does it mean people have made it their own?
Right.
Okay, so basically, we're all, if we understand God's love, we're all Israelites.
When you say we're all talking about everybody in the world?
Everybody in the world, or
No,
how
sir.
does that work? Okay,
No, sir.
that's what we need to get into.
Okay. God said, if my people that are called by my name will wake up and straighten up their ways. Jacob, name was changed to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob 12 sons are the fathers of the 12 tribes of Israel. Their children are called the Israelites. If God were to change Jacob's name to Israel, they'll be called the Jacobites.
Okay.
All our life in church, we heard that God is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. So why the church don't talk about Jacob if that's God's favorite?
And then if they do, he's a trickster,
He's a trickster.
or he's...
Because that's what his name meant. That's why white folk don't trust us. Because we come from Jacob.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, now watch this. If he's a trickster, God changed his name because it meant that. You know what I'm saying? But he never tricked nobody. He just didn't let you play on him. Anything that you brought on him, he came out on top. We didn't invent basketball. But ain't we on top?
Right.
You go anywhere in the country, Michael Jordan, the top player, LeBron James, top player, right?
Right.
Do you know in the African in the Caucasian phenomenons in basketball? If you go to Africa, if you ride around right now, do you hear the African music, or you hear the European music, or you hear rap, or you hear blues, or you hear whatever we get, we manipulate our way to the top. Even doing, but you can't beat us doing wrong.
Okay.
God ain't gonna let you outdo us doing nothing.
Okay.
That's why we became the world's servant. God said the children of Israel are servants. They are my servant. But since you couldn't serve me, I'm gonna let you serve the world.
Let me ask this question here, going back, because it speaks about it in the Bible about being foreigners, being enslaved in a foreign country for 400 years. I mean, who else could they be talking about in the Bible? What other race of people that was enslaved for 400 years?
Let's go to the scriptures and see who it fit. First of all, let's qualify the Bible.
Okay.
Now, this is King James version, right? When they first gave the slave the Bible, which is the King James version, and to be honest with you, the original Bible was written in Hebrew.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Israelite. God spoke Hebrew.
Right.
Right? When he talked to Moses on the mountain, he didn't talk to him in English. He talked to him in Hebrew.
Okay.
This is a love story between God and Israel. Now, let's qualify the Bible. There was no J's in the Hebrew language until 1624. Really 1621,
Okay,
right?
I heard that.
So there were no J's in the English language until 1621. So when we came with slaves in 1416, or 1616, I'm sorry, they gave us the Bible, which was translated, not written by, was translated by the Hebrew scholars to the English scholars because they wanted in their language so they can read, they can understand.
Okay,
So it was translated by some Hebrew scholars and some English scholars. It wasn't written by King James. He was just the president of that time, so he had to stamp it.
okay,
You know what I'm saying? So when they say the King James version, that just means that he was in power at that time.
monarch.
He didn't
Yeah,
write
yeah.
nothing.
Okay,
So you can't. It's the white man's book. No. The Hebrew scholars, Israelite scholars, was black people. They translated it. They sat down with some English scholars and they translated from Hebrew to English. That's how you get the King James version, right? But when they first written it, wasn't no J's in there. So where you get Jesus from? That's a whole nother topic. Now, but when they gave the slave the book, we couldn't read. So they told us what was in there,
right.
right? And if they caught you reading what they did to you,
Kill you.
kill you. Now watch this. So they felt safe by not really changing a lot of things in here. Okay? Now that we can read, now let's qualify your Bible. This is King James version. Okay? Go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 13. That's a different type of Bible.
Yeah, that's Gideon. Bible.
Gideon's.
Huh?
Yeah, that's Gideon's.
Gideon. That's King James or a New World Translation.
Yeah, look in the front.
This is.
That's New King James. Yeah.
New King James. Here, get this right here.
And they got big writing, big letters, I think, so you can read right.
Y'all want to swap out?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I want you to read yours first. Then go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 13. Now,
Genesis.
this right here was written because to make us better understand the King James, because we really couldn't understand it, right?
Right.
So they wrote other versions to give us what they say a better understanding. Clear understanding.
Right.
Now, when they gave us this, we couldn't read.
Right.
Okay.
So you say.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 13. This is right here to give you the jurisdiction of where the Garden of Eden was located at.
Okay.
Genesis chapter 2:13.
Right there. Oh, that's fine. This is giving you the demographic, the final demographic of where the Garden of Eden was located at. This is where Adam and Eve was at.
Okay.
All right.
The name of the second river, Agaion, is the one which goes around the whole land of Gush.
A what?
Cush.
Cush.
Yeah.
Read that one more time.
The name of the second river, Gihon, is the second one which goes around the whole land of Cush.
Wow.
Watch this. Hold on. Before you start that, where is Cush? What is Cush? Who is Cush?
You want to explain that to us?
All right, I'm finna explain it to you. Now, this is supposed to be a better version we can understand, right? So they had to change it up to give us clearer words, right? Now you read it in another text. Same
So it says, and in the name of the second river is Gideon. The same is in that it compresses the whole land of Ethiopia.
Cush over there, Ethiopia over here, right? Cush is Ethiopia. But why they had to put Cush? Which one you understand better?
Ethiopia.
So why they had to change it to Cush if this is more clear for you? To throw you off. Even though Cush is Ethiopia, but you gotta be a scholar to know that.
Okay.
Cush is Ham's son,
Right.
right? Ham is Noah's son.
Right.
Ham had 3 sons, Cush, Phut, Mizraim. That's why they call Ham the son of Africa, the father of Africa. Because when they settled, they settled what we call Africa now. His first son's name was Cush. He settled the island that they call, the land that they call Ethiopia. Phut is Libya. He settled the land that they call Libya, Africa. Mizraim is Egypt. All land masses are named after people.
Okay.
So Before we could read, they left Ethiopia in there. Now that we read, they took Ethiopia out with Cush. Now let me give you one more scripture to qualify the Bible. Go to Job chapter 1. Now I can read that with understanding, but if we try to get understanding, I would not read the New King James. Right? We just stick with the rest.
Job chapter 1.
Job chapter 1. I want you to read Job first, Stone. Job chapter 1, verse 1.
I'll get ready to say. You can read this whole thing. We'll be here all day.
Right. We're just trying to qualify the Bible that we're gonna learn from today.
Job chapter 1.
Verse 1.
Okay. There was a man in the land of Zoph,
Uz.
whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright.
All right, right there. That man was what?
Blameless and upright.
He was blameless and upright. So Job was blameless. What does blameless mean?
Sinless, without fault.
Without
He was a
fault.
good guy, good fella.
Okay. Read it in this text before they change it out of the text. This text.
Okay, verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect.
I
and
thought Jesus was
upright.
all one perfect. I taught you that, so now you can read, so I'm going to change the blameless, which means the same thing, but you got to be a scholar to know that. Put that Bible away, man. Okay?
So,
And when I say put it away, when you explain it to an unlearned man, you know, God don't need no help. Just need somebody to explain it.
okay.
He only gave his instructions, the knowledge of him to Israel. When Christ came, they say Christ came to the world. If you can show me that verse, I'll give you $100. Christ said, I came to my own.
Okay.
He said, God told him, go not to the Gentiles. You know what the Gentile is? Any other race of people is not Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Any other race of people. God only got Gentiles and Israelites. You know, we here say Gentiles and Jews.
Right.
We're going to get to that in a minute.
Okay.
God never had a people called Jew. His people called Israel. Play on words. So a Gentile is any other race of people, not any other religion, not any other color. Any other race of people that's not Israel is Gentile.
Okay.
Okay? God said, go not to the Gentiles. So Christ did. So that means don't go to no other race of people, but go only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And if you want to contest that, watch this. Go to Acts chapter 10.
So this is after Jesus, right? Because it's in the New Testament.
After he was dead.
Okay.
You put that Bible up. But you understand why I say that,
Yeah.
right? That's confusion. But
So-
it's supposed to be helping you.
Are you saying that if we're going to teach from any Bible, it should be the King James Bible? And
If you-
then
if
do
you-
the
If
look
you
the
speak
words.
English, if you don't have nobody to understand, if you really want to go to reading context, you need to be going to Hebrew, but you need to be able to read Hebrew.
Thank
Speak
you.
Hebrew, right? And I ain't talking about Yiddish. I'm talking about Hebrew. You know?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, it's
But that's a suffice.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where we need to start studying, but we need to look at the play on words.
Just go to King James. Just leave the other context alone. Because
Okay.
it meant to confuse you.
Okay. All right, so where do you want me to go in there?
Acts chapter 10, go to verse it's 10 here.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah. Okay. Read verse 28.
28.
Now this is Paul talking to Cornelius and the Caesarians, which are Caucasian. Paul was an Israelite, black man.
Okay. So it said, and he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation, but God has screwed me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
All right, now watch this. What happened was this: when Peter had that dream, when he saw the sheets coming from heaven, you know, the 4-footed beasts and all that type of stuff, and God said, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." A lot of people took that saying that we can eat swine and all that type of stuff, man. It wasn't about that. This is the conclusion of the whole matter. When God told Cornelius to go to Peter and get an understanding, bring him back so he can teach the people. God always gonna send me to the Israelite. So Peter is the Israelite. But this is the conclusion of the whole matter. Now this after Christ was dead. And he said unto them, Peter talking to Cornelius, the Caucasian, he's Italian. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing. So anything that was unlawful in Peter's time was unlawful when Christ was here. Because this was after Christ was dead.
Right.
So anything that Peter is putting down is everything that Christ taught him. Right?
Okay.
And I'm not gonna say Jew, I'm gonna say Israelite, because that's the play on words too. If I
Okay.
had a Hebrew Bible, we'll do the same thing with this. You're not gonna find Jew in that like that. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna say Israelite. I'm gonna change that to Israelite.
Okay.
And he said unto them, Peter, talking to the Italians, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is an Israelite to keep company or come unto one of another nation.
Okay.
They couldn't even go around to other people. When you ask, is God a racist? Excuse my language. Hell yeah. Do bluebirds fly with jaybirds?
No.
Do cheetahs hang with tigers? Who made them? God said, watch the nature, and you will learn something.
Okay.
Do lions hang with tigers? Do lions hang with tigers?
No, they don't. But I'm
Do dogs hang with cats?
no. But I'm just sitting here listening, and I'm listening to your analogy, and just
I'm going to read this again.
Mhm.
And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful. Christ was dead, so Christ ain't never went to no other nation. This knowledge he passed on to Peter. So Peter doing what Christ did.
Okay.
And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is an Israelite to keep company or come unto, don't even go around them, anybody of another nation. But God has showed me in that dream that I should not call any man common or unclean. Now you can teach the Gentiles. Christ didn't teach no Gentile. Christ didn't go around other folks.
Hold on. Wasn't some of his disciples Gentile?
Which one? Christ's disciples
Yeah,
or Paul's disciples?
Christ.
Name one.
No. Seriously.
No, I'm serious.
I'm serious.
If I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected. Name one that was a Gentile.
The last, they were brothers. What? None of the fishermen were.
No, sir.
Gentile.
No, sir. All of those are Israelites.
Okay, so
Someone
you're
from Simon and the fish.
Yeah.
Peter, yeah. All those Israelites.
okay. So you're saying, no, I'm playing. You know, I'm playing
Yes, sir.
ignorant.
Yes, sir.
You know, because
Yeah.
so he had none of his disciples were Gentiles.
And he said unto them, Peter, after Christ was dead, which he was supposed to do everything that Christ was doing,
Okay.
until it was time to teach the Gentiles. Ye know how that it is an unlawful thing before this time, that a man that is an Israelite to keep company or come unto anybody of another nation.
Okay.
Now, let's go to Christ.
Okay.
Let's go to Christ. Go to Matthew 15. Put it back up. Reason I want you to do it, because I don't want you to think I'm.
Oh no.
Go to.
This Kings. But I'm saying, you want me to go to Matthew?
Yes, sir. We're gonna see that Christ
What verse?
Go to 15 verse, let me see.
So what I want to get around to, what I'm trying to figure out is, you think the situation that's going on with Kanye and the situation with Kyrie, that you feel like it is an awakening for a lot of the Hebrews?
It's awakening. Oh, but Mark 7:27.
Mark?
Yeah. Start at verse 26. It's an awakening because, it's their time.
The 400 years of
400 years was up in 2016.
Oh wow. Mark 7.
Yeah. Start at verse 20.
As you look around, you can see a lot of the changes. As I do reading for the word when it says like the last will be first,
Yes, sir.
All right, so
you see a lot of that now.
Yes, sir.
you want me to read what Jesus said?
Yeah, start at verse 25.
Okay, this is 25.
Okay.
All right, so it says, for a certain woman whose daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him.
Start at 24.
Okay.
And this is Christ and his disciples walking.
Okay. From thence he rose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon,
That's in Africa.
and entered into an house, and would have no man knoweth, but he could not be hid. For a certain woman
He was trying to lay low and he didn't want to be seen.
okay, for a certain woman whose daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. The woman was Greek.
Hold on. She was what?
Greek.
Caucasian. Good.
Right. Sepharanaka by nation.
Syrophoenician.
Sorrow, okay, man, thank you. And he besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But Jesus said unto her, let the children first be filed, for
Be
it is
fed.
this is filed.
Filled.
Filled.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Let the children first be filled, for it is not meet to take children's bread and to cast it unto dogs.
Hold on. Did Christ just call that white woman a dog?
Yeah.
He did? Okay. Now look to the white woman say.
And she answered and said unto him, yes, Lord, yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs.
Right. So when the word dog is used in the scripture, it's talking about other nations of people. Or either talking about a homosexual. So she did not contest the fact that she was a dog.
Okay.
Now let's read the same scripture, Matthew 15. Now that's Mark version. Everybody has their own version. We all together, right?
But everybody giving their perspective of what
It's
they
the
see.
that's why it's the
yeah.
gospel.
Huh?
It's the gospel. Matthew what?
Matthew 15. Now,
Verse.
go start at verse 24. Now, Mark called the woman what she was. She was a white woman, Greek, another nation. Okay. Now, this would confuse you. This Matthew would confuse an unlearned person, but I'm gonna explain Matthew.
Okay. But he answered and said,
Start at
25?
Start at 22.
22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him.
Start at 21. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Jesus went thence and departed unto the coast of Tyre and Sidon.
That's in Africa.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, a woman of Canaan.
Now watch this. Canaan, a woman of Canaan.
Mhm.
Mark just told you she was a Greek, right? Canaan are black. Canaanites are black people. Now watch this. Canaan is Ham's grandson. You remember when Ham did the thing with Noah's wife?
Mm-hmm.
And God said, "Cursed be Canaan." a servant among servants he will be. Okay, Ham is Cush's son.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, Ham Canaan is Ham's son. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And everybody that came out of Ham was the father of different African nations, right?
Right.
Christ is in Africa now, in Tyre. So when they say a woman is of Canaan, she's not from Canaan, she's of Canaan. Like you a man of America, that don't mean you from America.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The Mark that told you, I went to Mark first to let you know what her race
She was
was.
Greek.
She was a Greek living in Canaan. Now, if a person read this,
They think she was a Canaanite.
she was a Canaanite.
Yeah.
And it sounded like Christ was a white man going off on his black woman,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
That's not what it is. Mark gave you. That's why I want you to read Mark first. He gave you her race, her nationality,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what she stated. Then I read it again.
Read, start where?
You start with what it say the Canaan woman.
Okay, so it says, and behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried out unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter...
That son of who?
David.
I thought he was the son of God. Read on there.
It says, my daughter is grievously vexed with a devil.
Now watch this. Anytime you say this, when it says somebody's vexed with the devil, if you got a split personality, if you got excuse me, if you got schizophrenia or anything, they will say, anytime they say that man got a devil, that means you must be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they word for crazy. Man, so they're vexed with the devil. We would say, hey, that gone crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So whatever was wrong with her daughter, was something wrong with her man.
Something wrong with mine. Okay. But he answered her not a word.
He ain't talk to
Okay. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she
her.
cried.
Man, get this woman away from us, man. You know we can't be around these other folks.
Right. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of
I
Israel.
thought he was sent to the world. Who said who? I thought Christ was sent to. Did Christ
Because
talk,
didn't we
right?
say he came to save the world?
Oh.
They got songs about that.
Okay, but they got scripture saying that. Read that again.
He said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house
For the Jews.
of Israel.
Okay. Read on down.
It says, then came she.
Well, you skipped the word.
No, I'm not saying this says the house of Israel. It says, then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meat. It says, it is not meat to take children's bread to and to cast
it
its
to
dogs.
What I got in for you, white woman.
Say it again.
What he's saying right here, I'm not. What I got is for Israel. I'm not gonna take food out their mouth and cast to dogs, which means I'm not gonna take my blessing that God sent me to bring to Israel and give it to no dog, no other race of people.
Okay.
That's not what she said.
And she said, true, Lord, yet the dogs eat the crumbs of which fall from the master's table.
So give me something.
Okay, so hold on. I'm reading and trying to focus on this, but
Yes, sir.
is that the reason why? So who can be, only black folks can be Israelites? Okay, so.
Well, if you want to, we can go to what qualifies us to be in Israel.
I mean, we can get there, but like I said, we're at the point now where you've qualified the Bible. We see in the scriptures, and from what you've qualified is the fact that Christ was sent to save the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with that being said, how do you become? You can tell us now, because technically, and we know you're going to find it in the scripture, but tell us how, if that's the case, then do white folks qualify?
Go to Joel chapter 1.
I knew you would. Joel
Joel chapter 1.
Joel. But it's not in here.
Yes, sir. Joel.
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 Oh, Joel.
Joel.
Okay.
Yeah.
We said it wrong.
Now, most people would first take you to Deuteronomy 28:6, but we're gonna go a little deeper. And the reason I won't just say, because I don't want to talk for God. I let God talk for himself. That's why we get confused, because they gave us the Bible, but they keep it closed and they talk for it. No, I'm let God talk for himself. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So let God talk. I don't want to talk for him.
I feel you. But once again, like I said, what's your pick on the situation with Kyrie? Why you feel like that they are so upset about him sharing this video?
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna give you a scenario real fast. If you went to prison, me and your brothers, right? You went to prison, and I was told they gave you life. You was under the person that gave you life, right? And we went to prison an hour, right? We were together. So don't nobody in Mississippi know 4 from hour. I come back to Mississippi. First of all, I got all the money, you know, that you had in the hotel room and all this stuff for you. I took all your money, all your clothes. I came back to Mississippi with your name and pretend I was you, right? With all your resources, go back and get your good job and all that under your name, right? I'm living as you, okay? Because I think you gone. I get the word that you figure out of jail. What you think I'm gonna do to you if I'm living a good life on your name?
Kill.
Yeah.
Or anybody who say anything about you,
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
The Jews have ran the world on the strength that they God's people. Because God's people been asleep. Now that we waking up, I need to put a pillow over y'all head, man. If that answer your question.
You putting the pillow on
You
my
know, I'm well aware. I want you to just let the people know what's going on. Yeah.
Was that a good explanation?
Yeah, most definitely.
head. All right. So, what you want me reading, Joel?
Start at Joel chapter 1. And I'm gonna have to narrate it to you. You know what I'm saying? And you know, while you read.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the word of the Lord came to Joel, son of Pethuel. Hear this, ye old man.
Alright, let me start for a minute. The Old Testament is the book of the law and the prophets. The first 5 books is God's law. The rest of the books in the Old Testament are God's prophets that he talked through.
Mm-hmm.
Joel is a prophet of God. A prophet is not a preacher. A prophet does not congregate over people. Prophet had one job to talk to one person, and the person that's over talks to the people. Anytime you hear the word Lord in the Bible, they ain't just talking about God all the time. If you stay in an apartment complex,
Man,
you don't got the owner phone number, do you?
Okay. That's what you say.
Joel is the prophet, and whoever he's giving the word to is the Lord over Israel. So they got to relay the message to Israel. David was God's favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
But who did he have a relationship and talk straight to God? No, he talked to Nathaniel.
So Nathaniel.
Was his prophet. That's how he talked to God. That was his Lord.
so it's like Jesus is the Lord. They say when you speak through Jesus.
But that's a different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, nobody has access to God like that. Now we do for one thing, that's repentance. That's why we got to pray through Emmanuel, God Jesus. You know, before then you had to go through the high priest. But let's get back to the point. The point of the matter is, Joel is the prophet. God gave the word to Joel, and Joel gave it to the person that God sent him to. Normally it's a person that's over,
Something.
what is over his people.
Okay.
Moses, it's a couple people that were prophets and overseers. Moses was one of them. God talks direct. God told you, all of my prophets, I talked to them in vision and in dream. But Moses not so. He's the only one I talked to mouth to mouth. You can't tell me nobody else in this book that God talked to face except Moses.
Okay, so when you say he sends his prophets to speak to the people who are old.
Whoever he sent them to, he ain't gonna send them to no group.
Okay, but he spoke to Pharaoh when we talk about Moses, who was not.
God spoke to Pharaoh.
No, he spoke to Moses to tell Pharaoh
Yes, sir.
To let the people.
let his people go,
Yes,
but
sir.
Pharaoh was not an Israelite.
No, sir. Pharaoh was an Egyptian.
Okay, so God, and I guess, and the reason why I'm saying is that, so if God is bringing equality or freedom, this is what I'm saying,
Okay.
to his people,
Okay.
he's got to send somebody to speak to the people who are in control.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's what's happening right here. That's what's gonna happen in Joel.
okay,
And this is a prophecy. That's nothing I'm getting at. A prophet speaks prophecy, which means not nothing that's happening now. He's speaking for the future. So this verse is not nothing that's going on right now. That's not history.
okay.
They're speaking for the future.
So Joseph spoke to Pharaoh about what was going to happen in the future
What?
with Egypt.
Well,
He sent Pharaoh a warning.
yeah.
But if he didn't let him go, then what God was gonna do?
No, I'm saying Joseph, not Moses.
Oh,
Joseph. Oh yeah. Yeah. Joseph. He gave him a vision
Right.
of what was going to happen in the future.
If he doesn't,
Yeah. Joseph was a prophet.
okay,
Everybody not prophet.
okay,
Even David, with God said, he's after my own heart. He had to go through that thing.
okay. So when people say, now Miss thing is that David, people say he's a prophet.
David was not a prophet.
Okay. Okay, I'm just saying because his name, I'm saying, and I'm just saying the book of what he wrote,
Psalms.
Psalms and stuff.
So I'm saying he was a prophet.
Nope.
Okay.
Sound right.
If he was a prophet, he wouldn't have needed Nathan. Nathan wouldn't have to come to him and say, man, that man is you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? God, he wasn't talking to God.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Joel is a prophet. He's speaking what's going to happen in the future for God's people. Joel, all of God's prophets are Israelites.
Okay.
All right, so.
So it says, "Hear this, ye old man, and give ear, all ye inhabitants of the land. How has this been in your days, or even in the days of your father? Tell ye your children of it."
I'm sorry. Joel chapter 3. I'm sorry, man. I apologize.
Oh no.
Chapter 3.
All right, so it says, "For behold, in those days and in the time when I shall..."
And in that time, in those days, which means far off. And in that time, which means he talking in the far off.
Okay. "When I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem."
All right. Judah, and after the death of Solomon, Israel was split up into two parts.
Mm-hmm.
Judah and Jerusalem. You remember at first David, when Saul was in power,
Mm-hmm.
David became king over Judah first.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Saul died, he became king over the whole Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. After the death of Solomon, Israel was split up into two parts. Judah and Benjamin and the rest of the 10 tribes. So you will hear Judah and Benjamin. That's where they play on words about the word Jew. You know?
Okay, so Judah and Benjamin,
All of them Israel.
all of them are Israel, but those were the descendants of Jacob and Rebekah.
Jacob had 4 wives.
But I'm saying those two.
Jacob was married to Rebecca. Jacob was married to Leah.
The sister, because he married one sister,
Yes,
he had to
sir.
stay 7 years or whatever.
Rachel and Leah.
Rachel, that's what I'm saying. They're the children of Rachel.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But he had 4 wives. They children one
Because Benjamin was his last child,
last child, yeah.
which he had. And then Joseph, because they were jealous of Joseph.
Right.
Okay. All right, I'm just thinking those were,
I can't really remember the order right this second,
okay.
but all 12 boys are born from 4 girls.
Yeah.
Okay. Leah, Rachel,
His side piece. her
Well,
side piece.
that's another play on words too. Because when you say side piece, they couldn't be men of God and fornicate.
But then that was the norm. You can have more than one wives if you take
That's
care
not
of
fornicating. Wives.
it. Okay, see, that's something new.
Wives. If I'm wife, you ain't my side. You my wife, you ain't my side piece. Concubine.
Concubine.
Now, watch me explain that word. Women them days came with a handmaid
Okay.
because when they on their period, they couldn't do certain things.
Right.
Okay. So, a concubine is a woman that was a servant that became your wife,
Okay.
but she's your wife. Abraham married Hagar because they said that was his wife.
Okay.
A lot of people think he fornicated. No, they didn't fornicate. You fornicate, you committed a sin.
Okay.
But God said marriage.
He didn't say how many, but marriage.
God said, and you got qualifications of. Name me one person in here that was a man of God that had one wife. You can't name very many people.
No. Well, you can't name me. I just go back and look, but now from especially
I didn't say all of them had only one, more than one wife. Cause
If he was able to.
what Moses had.
Moses had 3. Well, he had 2. I know he had 2. He had the Ethiopian woman, and then he had Jethro's daughter, the Midianite.
Okay.
He had her first.
Okay.
Then he married the Ethiopian woman, which made him king of Ethiopia. That's a whole other story. But
Hey, look, what time is it? Cause we gonna have to.
Yeah.
but let just read this scripture right here.
All right. So where we at now?
Joel chapter 3.
Chapter 3. It says, okay, verse 2. So I will also gather all nations and will bring them down unto the valley of Josaphat.
Jehoshaphat. God said, at that time, I'm gonna gather all the nations who got my people in captivity, and I'm gonna plead with you. I'm gonna bring you all to one place, to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I'm gonna let my people go.
Okay.
Good.
And will plead with them there for many people and for my heritage,
My heritage,
Israel.
for my nation, Israel. God's heritage, God's nation.
Okay.
Good.
Whom they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot.
Hard as a prostitute.
Okay. And so girls for wine that they might drink.
Casting lots of shooting dice and any type kind of gambling you doing, but you gambling for my people.
Okay, so this verse 4. Yea, and what ye have do with me, O Tyre and Sidon.
Zidon.
Zidon.
Remember we ran across those names in what's the name? And I told you that was Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So these are 2 African, they hear what God's saying, and these 2 African nations are saying, what this got to do with us? Tyre and Zidon, they asking God that.
Okay. It says, and all of the coasts of Palestine.
Africa.
Is this the Palestine, present day Palestine?
It's actually Philistine.
Philistine,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But all the coast, that mean that area.
What's it, Palestine?
Yeah, well, Palestine.
Okay.
Right. It's that area. Palestine, Philistine, same thing. It's
Okay.
that area.
Okay.
That area, which was all black folk at that time.
Which is where Jerusalem is.
That's another topic. Right now we're dealing with Africa.
All right, my bad.
And the coast of that area is Africa.
Right. Okay, so, and will render me recompense.
That they wanna. Can we pay you for whatever you mad at? Can we offer you something? What you need for that?
Okay.
So they guilty of something, man. Africa is. Go ahead.
And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense
Upon your own
on
head.
your own
Whatever
head.
you get at me, I don't want it. You gotta pay. But
With
what
your
they got?
own head?
Huh? Well, whatever you get at me, I'm returning speed. I'm gonna give it back to you.
As soon as you give it to me.
Right. So they gotta pay for something. Now let's see what Africa gotta pay for. Good.
So verse 5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried unto your temples my goodly pleasant things. Says the children also of Judah and the children of
That's
Jerusalem
the whole 12 tribes of Israel.
have yet sold unto the Grecian.
You done took my children and sold them to the Greeks.
Okay. And yet,
Let's start right there.
okay.
So who took a nation of people and sold them to the white folks?
Africans.
Yes, they did.
Okay, are these Africans they're not Israelites?
You can't be an African and an Israelite. Israel is in Israel. If I'm an Ethiopian, my land is Ethiopia. If I'm a Kenyan, my land is Kenya.
Okay.
If I'm an Israelite, my land is Israel.
Okay, but you said something that, because the first thing white folks want to say, y'all sold your own people into slavery.
Play on words. Play on words. We all are not Africans. Because if you tell a black person from Australia, he is not African. He's an original.
Albino, what's it?
Well, you got Aborigines.
Aborigines.
You got different types of black.
Yeah.
If you tell a black person from Asia, he's not African. The indigenous people of this land was black. This not Africa. They put all us in one box, so we won't tell the difference. Either we're African, which means that they just mean you black.
Dark skinned.
Either you're Moor, which means black, unless you from Morocco, which is a place in Africa. And all blacks are not from Morocco. Either you're Kemet, which means black, but we think it means something else. When they saying it, they just meant black. If they said the Moor of Rome, they took that nigga from Rome. They said the African people that was in Asia, which means the niggas that was in Asia. You know what I'm saying? Or black people. I can go right here and show you nigga just means black.
Yeah, this is color, the Greek.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Africans wasn't selling Africans into slavery. Have you guys saw that movie? They put it right in your face. You guys saw that movie, Black Panther?
Yeah.
You saw Black Panther?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen the new one. I've seen the old
I'm
one.
talking about the old one.
Yeah.
Okay. When Killmonger was left in America because he was an African, remember he had the baby and they left him in America? What did the uncle say? You left him over there? Okay. When they had the discussion, he said, maybe not the people that lost, maybe we lost. Remember that? And then when Killmonger came over there and saw the land that he was from,
Right.
he asked him, man, we could use our people there. Them ain't our people.
Okay.
This Rwanda. Man, we trying to bring you back here.
Yeah, you trying to take what we got back over here.
Them ain't our folk, bro.
Yeah.
If you understand what he was asking him, he had a child over there, and you left him over there? Man, look, they sent scouts. They got records where they sent scouts over here to America. Africans did, to make sure none of their people mistakenly hadn't got sold. In 70 AD, no, in 606 BC, the Assyrians raided Israel, and the 10 tribes went into Samaria. That's where you get the word Good Samaritan. The 10 tribes ran out the land. There was 2 tribes still in the land, Judah and Benjamin. Right? 10 tribes were gone. They went to Samaria first. And that's why when God told Christ, go not to the Gentiles, but go only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And he said, go not to Samaria, because they not there no more. By the time Christ came, well, nobody in Israel but Judah and Benjamin. Christ was from Judah, tribe of Judah.
Mm-hmm.
The Pharisees and Sadducees were from the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin. Those were the 2 tribes still left in the land. He said, go only to the lost sheep. He didn't send them to all Israel. Go to the lost one. But don't go to Samaria, because that's where you think that they is, because they gone. We had the guys scattered in Africa then.
Right.
And from Africa, we got dispersed to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, to the 4 corners of the earth. So, we was in, they got documented.
Because we wouldn't worship God. I mean,
Yeah, for disobedience.
yeah, disobedience.
You can go and Google Operation Moses and Operation Solomon. In 1994, they sent, when they had a civil war in Ethiopia, they sent some Israelites who were still keeping their cousin back to Israel. You know what I'm saying? We had to, but make a long story short, if you was an African, you'd never have to shave your face. A true African don't grow cheek hair. That's another story. But what I'm saying is, Africans wasn't selling Africans into slavery. It's record where they sent scouts over here to make sure they people didn't mistakenly get shipped over. You know what I'm saying? Over here.
Okay.
You know, if you go to Deuteronomy 28:6, it said that I'm gonna send you back to Egypt. Egypt is a parable of slavery, but this time in ships. Cause we went to Egypt the first time, we walked to Egypt.
Mm-hmm. Cause we were hungry and we destitute.
In the wilderness.
No, that's
Now we walked to Egypt because God, yeah, exactly, yeah, you're right. God told him to go there, right, yeah.
Because
Joseph
was there,
right? And you remember who sold Joseph to Egypt?
the brothers.
No, sir. They sold to the Arab slave trade. The Arab slave trade sold to Egypt.
Okay.
If you do your record on who actually did the brokerage between the Englishmen and Africa, it was the Arabs. Arabs have always been in the Hebrew and the Israelite slave trade business. I don't want to say Hebrew Israelites because that's a whole nother topic. I'm just say Israelites. Because you got different types of Hebrews. I'm just say Israelites. That's a whole nother topic. But the Arabs came over here and they was trying to enslave. They had some more Caucasians over here trying to get them to work the lands and stuff. And the Indians wasn't going. The people of this, like, they were black too. But I had a Native American tell me this one day. Cause you know how we always want to say we have Indian all that. He said, man, stop saying that. He said, yeah, both of us black, but you're a German Shepherd, I'm a Coyote. Both of us dogs, but you gonna let me tie you up and feed you. You type of coyote, you gonna bite your hand off. That makes sense. Yeah. So he was a wild man. He wasn't going. So they were trying to do their own people, had their own people, and they couldn't grow nothing from the ground. And Indians, they were hunters, they weren't planters. Joseph was bringing people stuff out the ground when he was a planter. That's our God given gift. Guys, I got a people who gonna bring cotton, whatever you want in this land. And they already prophesied to go in slavery. So they went to get us. But white folk couldn't go like that.
God told Adam and again that he had to tend to the land.
That's it. That's our God's gift. We know how to bring stuff from the ground.
Wow, this is fascinating. But we got to do this again.
Oh yeah.
Cause we could be here all day.
I'm gonna say this right here. Joseph Egypt was just like America in their time because of us.
Right. And that's what's happening. We're growing this country.
America is the Egypt of this time because of us. Babylon was a superpower at their time because of us. Everywhere we are servants at, that place is on top. And it don't be no war in that land. Has there ever been a war on American soil?
Other than the Civil War?
Other than the Civil War. Has there ever been a war on Egypt's soil? No. No. Moses came and turned that place upside down. There ain't no war. They ain't had a problem. Because as long as we over there, God gonna protect it.
Okay. So, and this may close it out.
Yes, sir.
Then what causes us to still become slaves? The slave mentality.
Mentality.
What's the reason behind it?
Because we don't know who we are.
It's the awakening time now.
But if we get awoke, what's going to happen?
We got to get back to the laws of God. They're going to fix everything. That's our culture. The commandment is our culture, not our religion. Like this is the Pharisee asked Christ, the Sadducee of the Pharisee. Sadducee asked Christ, what two commandments are the greatest? What did Christ say?
Have one God.
Well, he said, hang all the commandments on these two.
One God and love thy neighbor.
Love God with all your heart and soul, and love thy neighbor as you love yourself. He said, if you complete these, you completed them all. Church say that you ain't got to do the commandment if you just love your neighbor. Okay, now watch this. If I love my neighbors, I love myself, right? I ain't gonna murder you.
That covers
I ain't gonna steal from you.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna sleep with your woman, I'm gonna just sleep with mine. Right? Now watch this. We leave God out. That's the first thing he said. Love God with all your heart and soul. God said, you love me, you'll keep my commandment. You ain't gonna break the Sabbath. You ain't gonna have no other God before me. You ain't gonna make no graven image. You ain't gonna bow down. So if the commandment done away with, I can have your wife. I can steal from you. No, you can't throw all away and keep coming in your pocket. No. If all the commandments done away with, all the commandments done away, that means free reign. I can murder you. I can have your woman. That's what we're doing now. I'm sleeping with your woman. I'm keep.
Right.
But them the only command we concerned with. Don't steal from me now. You ain't got to do what God say. Don't worry about God command. No, don't you sleep with my woman. No, man, everything fat game. If I can break Sabbath, I can sleep with your woman. If I can put a cross around my neck, which is a grave name that God told me not to do, I can steal from you.
Wow.
If I can bow down to a white Jesus, I can cover to you. I want that. I don't want one just like it. I want that Cadillac.
So and one of the things that I think the Jews, today's Jews, are upset.
Because you're exposing them.
We're exposing them and we're letting them know. Because they do, if you really think about it, they think in terms of what God disallows, the way they've got their riches, the way
If you look at it, they run the industries, what we've been talking about. They run all the industries of the world. Media, television, all of this. And if you just look at it, those are the outlets that Satan is using today. What they in control of. And you look what they putting out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like the argument was, like Kanye was saying, like, you don't like the music that these regulators putting out. You don't allow this music and they can music. They kids ain't, you know what I'm saying, listen to it. You ain't heard no Jewish rappers out here talking about shooting down another one, you know? So, you know, that's what I look at from that standpoint.
When they say the word Jew, they know what they're saying. When they say I'm Israeli, they know what they're saying. Israeli means I'm a citizen of Israel. Israelite means I'm a native of Israel. They never say they're Israelites. They say they're Israeli. If I say I'm a Jew, we think they're talking about the tribe of Judah.
Okay, so
you spell Judah J-U-D.
Yeah.
You spell Jew J-E-W. That's two different things.
Okay, so it's funny because during the 60s, I think we might have talked about this, white folk didn't even like the Jews. That's another story.
Hey man, look, okay, I'm gonna go into this. I'm gonna say this right here, and you might have some people that may contest it, but they can't prove me wrong. In 2 Kings, or the 1 Kings, you remember when Elijah, or was it Elisha? It was Elijah or either Elisha, I can't remember. When the king was vexed with leprosy, and his servant said, man, it's an Israelite over there in the land, he can kill you with that. And he went to go see him, Elijah. And Elijah told him to dip yourself in the river Jordan 3 times, go on. Mm-hmm. He thought they were too simple. He wanted to hit a spell and so he went on, he ain't do it. He went on back, and the servant said, did you holler? He was like, yeah, but he didn't talk about dipping the river. He said, man, if you told you to do a great thing, you would have did it. I guess that was too simple for you. You gotta go back and do that. Like, we want to see spells and the show,
like the show,
right? So he went back and dipped, and redid it. He dipped himself in the river Jordan 3 times, and he was healed. So he went back to Elijah or Elisha. I don't want to miss it. It was one of them, but.
I'm gonna look at it later.
Yeah.
Cause you got me. I'm gonna look at the King James. Really look at it.
Yes, sir. So he went back to the king. He went back with gifts, cause he wanted to. Man, you got me straight. You turned my white skin back black. That's all leprosy is. You take the pigment out of your skin. You can't take the pigment out of nothing white, out of nothing red, whatever. So when a black man is turning pale around all these niggas, black folks, man, y'all don't want to be around me. So you can turn me back black. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So he came with gifts, trying to pay Elijah. Elijah said, no, you straight, go ahead, you know. But Gehazi, which was Elijah or Elisha, understudied, which means he was scribe. Got greedy. So he chased the king down, told him, yeah, man, he said, go and give him something.
Bring him off.
Yeah. So the king did. So when he got back to Elijah or Elisha, and Elijah say, cause he had to give her the sermon. He said, "Where you been?" Elijah was a prophet. I won't say that. I can't remember was he a prophet or not. But anyway, he said, "Man, where you been?" "I ain't been nowhere." You know. I said, "Why you gonna lie to me?" And he told me what he had did and everything. And he say, "That plague that was on that king gonna be up on you and your seed forever."
Dang.
Now watch this. And he sent him away. And he went and dwelt with another people, Caucasian. Guess what he took with him?
The plague.
Huh?
The plague.
No, the plague was on him and his seeds.
Okay.
It wasn't contagious. It was just on him and his seed. Everybody come out here gonna be pale. So he was a black man with pale skin, right? It wasn't contagious though. But what he took with him when he dwelt with other people was his scribe. God's word.
Oh.
Now watch this. He shared with other people, Caucasian. Now watch this. Because he was white, and they was so
He fit in.
he could go around on niggas the other way. Man, you gotta go it on because they thought it was contagious. They didn't know it was contagious now. 'Cause they wasn't dealing with it.
Right.
Man, you gotta go it on, bro. You know that? So now watch this. Hitler. What was Hitler's speech? Who he said kill? Jews. Anybody that don't have blonde hair and blue eyes.
Mm-hmm. Because the foundation was built on God's word when God's going to go get his lost sheep and the separate.
Well, we want to keep it natural. First natural, then spiritual.
Okay.
Hitler knew that it's a